Hi, my name's Hannah and this is my first tutorial video. I am the designer behind Yarnia Designs, and this is just a quick tutorial to explain the 5-stitch bobble in my pattern, the Rosehip socks. So the bobble is constructed over 3 rows, and once it's complete it looks just like this here. So I'm just about to start the first row of the bobble, so I just need to do one more stitch here. And then the first step involves taking your needle 3 stitches below, so you have to count. If I come a bit closer, you can do this, count this by checking these loops here. So that would be 1 stitch below, that would be 2, and this is 3. So you actually put the needle straight through, so it just goes through the back. You wrap the yarn around and pull through 1 loop. Then you complete a yarn over, then you go back in the same loop, into the same stitch, put another loop around, pull that through, 1 more yarn over, and then you go back into the same stitch and pull out 1 more loop, and then you should have 5 loops just there picked up through that stitch, which should be 3 rows below. And then what you do next is you just take that next stitch off the needle, and so all of these strands become looser, and then that will just loosen up the bobble. Okay, so that's the first row of the bobble stitch. Okay, so your second row, when you get to the bobble stitch again, it should look like this. So I just do this 1 purl. Oops. And then you should have 5 loops here. So all you have to do on the second row is just knit into each one. Okay, and then so after you've done the second row of the bobble, it should look like this. So I'll just work round to get to the third row, and then we'll show you the last bit. Okay, so we're now on the final row of the 5-stitch bobble, and this is what it should look like when you start this section. So the first thing you have to do is quite tricky, but you have to slip the first 3 stitches knitwise, which means you go in from this side instead. So come in from the bottom of the 3 stitches like that, and then so all 3 of those stitches will be twisted as a whole, if that makes sense. And then you need to knit 2 together, So that's how it looks at the moment. And then what you have to do is slip the 3 stitches on the right just over the top, past these 3 stitches over this one. I find it easier just to do them one at a time. So, oops. Just trying to shuffle around the tripod. It's way more difficult doing this, trying to film yourself doing it, because I have to try and look at my knitting through the camera, which is just so strange because you can't really see the same depth where you're actually where your needle is actually going. Okay, so all 3 stitches have now been passed over. So I'll just straighten this out. That's how it should look. Okay. And that's the 5-stitch bobble. It tends to look a little bit bunched up when you've just done it, but then once you continue on the rows it straightens out and should end up looking a little bit like this. Okay, so yeah, that's the tutorial for the 5-stitch bobble that I use in the Rosehip socks. Thank you for watching. Bye!